Hi guys, so I'm filming this video because basically there's been a lot of crazy things happening recently and I just kind of wanted to document myself telling this story just so that I can remember like next week everything that's happened, and in case any of my friends want to know what happened I can just send them this video and not have to explain it all in person because it's kind of a long story. So basically, hi guys, whichever friend this is that I have handed this video to. There has been a lot of crazy things happening in my house recently. I'm sure I've told some of you some of them. So, I'm just gonna jump right in. So basically it was like a few months ago, a few months ago, me and a few friends were doing a seance at my high school. Don't ask me why, it was just kind of fun, and I made sure I didn't use a Ouija board and I was being super careful and following like all the instructions I could find about how to do it safely, and the first couple of times it went really well and everything was fine. But then one time a teacher like showed up in the hallway that we were in like halfway through our little seance ritual, and we had to kind of cut it short and didn't like properly say goodbye, do all that fun stuff. So, that's my first mistake. Probably everything that happens in this video is, mostly my fault, but what are you gonna do? After that happened, just like some strange things started happening, and my house is like 100% not haunted. I've lived here all my life and like nothing crazy has ever happened. It's literally like my dad built it when I was like 2, so it's like a new build, and it was like an apartment before that, so it's definitely not haunted. And me and a few friends were spending the night in my basement, and it was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. My dad had already gone upstairs to go to bed because it's a 2-story house and then there's a basement. So both my mom and my dad were asleep on the top story and me and my friends were in the basement. So it's 2 floors down. So definitely you can't hear anybody like walking around on the top floor. So we're downstairs and I was like, maybe we should go upstairs and like grab a snack or two. We were just hungry. Right when I was about to go upstairs, I heard some footsteps on the like first floor, like the main floor. And at first I was like, oh, I thought my dad already went to bed. Like I heard him go up the stairs. Like, I don't know, maybe he came back downstairs or something. I'm just not sure. And I don't have any pets, no cats, no dogs. So I was like, it's gotta be my dad. Like who else would it be? But it like kept going for a while, like longer than my dad would ever like come downstairs. Like there was somebody like pacing. So I was like, I really don't want to go up there. You know what, we're just gonna go to bed and we're gonna call it a night and I'll ask my parents in the morning. So the next morning I talked to my mom and dad and asked them if either of them had been awake and like went downstairs to grab anything, and they both said no, they slept through the night. My dad went up at about 12, and again this was at like 2 in the morning when this happened. So it was neither of my parents, no animals, don't know. So basically that was like the first weird thing that happened, and I just kind of like played it off as like, I don't know, the floors were creaking. I'm not sure, it didn't sound like floors creaking, it sounded like legitimate footsteps pacing, but it didn't bother me too much. So fast forward to maybe a month or 2 later, I was in the basement of my school. It's like kind of a basement area, but also like kind of like a main floor area. I don't know, it's just like partially underground underneath the gym where there's like bathrooms and locker rooms and showers and things, with another one of my friends. And we're down there and it's got like, we're standing by the faucets, and it's got like regular faucets that like turn, not like automatic faucets or anything. And the faucet turns itself on. We were just like talking and all of a sudden like the water's running and we're like, what the heck? But also that I didn't like count as anything too crazy because, I thought maybe, I don't know, like I missed the water running when we first walked in there and that somebody had just left it on, though I don't know how that would have happened because I washed my hands first. Anyways, that one also I just was kind of like, what? It could be anything because not too many crazy things had happened. I was like, whatever, I'm sure it's nothing. About 2 weeks ago, super recently, I was in my kitchen and I got like a little glass cup for water just, you know, a sip of water to take with like my morning vitamins. And I then drank out of it and then put it in the sink. And all of a sudden, me and my mom are standing there talking, and we hear like this sound of like glass against metal as it's like sliding across the sink. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? So I walk over to where the glass is and like look in the sink, and you know, normally you would think like, oh, it's a sink, it's like sort of sloped down, and if it's wet then the glass could definitely like slide a bit. But it was dry and there was no water on the glass, on the outside of the glass. So that was also just like very freaky. And when me and my mom heard it too. When we were asking my dad later, like, isn't this crazy? Like, what happened earlier? He said, oh yeah, that's happened to me too. Like, the glasses have like slid across the sink. So I don't know, that's just like some crazy thing. And then I was studying about a week ago, a plastic cup of water sitting on the table like next to my laptop. And suddenly I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden it like scooches, like probably a few centimeters. It just like shifts over, and it like freaked me out because it was right next to me, and I like saw and heard it happen, and my mom heard it as well. She was sitting in the living room, which is like right next to the table that I was working at. And at first I was like, you know, maybe there's like condensation on the bottom and it like slid a bit. It was completely dry. It was room temperature water, so it didn't have any condensation on it. The table was dry. It literally just like scooched over. And I just have no possible way of explaining why or how that would happen. So moving on to probably the craziest story out of all these. Last night I was in my bed on my phone. It was probably 11:30, 11:45, and my mom had already gone to bed. She was in her room down the hall, and my door was shut. And I'm sitting there just like scrolling through Instagram or whatever, and suddenly I hear what sounds like definitely like a heavy person like stomping, not necessarily stomping, just like moving very quickly outside of my door. Because you know how like if somebody like sort of like half jogs through a room, you can hear like the floor kind of shakes a bit, and like the shelves or like bookcases will kind of just like rattle a bit and stuff will move, and like the light bulbs in your lamps will kind of shake a bit. Well, that's exactly what it was, and it was loud. It was like somebody was like jogging by the outside of my room, and not somebody light, like somebody heavy, like a big man is what it sounded like. And that's just like the vibe I got. And it sounded like it was right outside my door. It sounded like they ran towards my door and like stopped. And at that point I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Like, at first I thought like my parents or like something crazy was going on. I was like, are my parents okay? Why are they running? Like, I thought it was my dad running like towards my room. I thought he was gonna like open the door and tell me that something was going on. The house was on fire or something. I don't know. I was freaked out. And then it happened again. It sounded like somebody was running away from my room. Like somebody ran up to my door, stopped for about a minute, and then ran away. But like not that long. It was like they just like took a few steps away and then it stopped. And it was again really loud. Like the stuff in my room all rattled, like my lamp light bulb, you could hear it shaking, and I could like feel the actual shaking in my bed. So I was super freaked out at that point. I was like, it's probably not my parents, because wouldn't they have like came into my room? I don't know. It was super late at night. I was tired. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pull my covers up over my head and go to bed because I'm tired and scared and I don't have time for this. And I had exams today, so I was like, I need sleep anyway. Let's just not worry about it. So Q2 today, I woke up and my mom, she was like cooking me breakfast, and my dad was sitting at the table, and I was like, oh, by the way, were either of you like up at like 11:30 last night and like running around upstairs? I was like, I know this sounds crazy, but it sounded like there was somebody like running around. And my dad said that he actually didn't come upstairs until about 12:30. He had been asleep on the couch, and that my mom didn't get up to go to the bathroom or anything until like 3. So honestly, I have absolutely no idea how to explain that. It was just honestly so scary, and there's no way for me to really give you any explanation for why that would possibly happen. So needless to say, I'm a bit freaked out right now, and I'm home by myself, and my mom, she went out shopping for Christmas and stuff, and I have been just like studying and like cleaning up around my room, and I was like, I just want to go downstairs and make myself a cup of tea because, you know, I like tea. And I go downstairs, and I've got like the mug of hot water with the like pouch of tea in it, and there's like a spoon in it just like rested in there because I had been like mixing it up a little bit just to get things moving. And I like let the spoon sit against the side and walked away because I was just like looking at something on the counter. I don't even know, there was like mail or something on the counter that I was looking at. And as soon as I walked away and like started looking down at the counter, I hear the spoon like slide across the side of the cup. Like here, I have the cup and spoon right here, and it basically, it just like went like this, and it kept going. And it wasn't just like one, like it was just like settling. It was like, and it was like loud. So I basically just like backed up. I was like, what am I, like what is going on? All this crazy stuff that's been happening. I don't really trust this. I don't want to go over there. So I ran upstairs, and I was like, the first thing I can do is grab my phone and document it, because one of my friends today, Lola, told me, you know, get video proof next time something crazy happens. And so I ran to get my phone, and I was like, if this is gonna happen, I just want to video it. So I was coming down the stairs, and it was loud enough that I could hear it, like across the room. It was like deliberately, like I can't even make it make as much noise as it was making. It was like I could seriously hear it. It was loud, and it was like, first of all, if it was just like settling a little bit, it would have settled by now, and also like it wouldn't be making those like loud crazy noises. So I get downstairs, and I've got my phone in my hand, and I'm about to start recording it, and it just stops. And I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. Great, now I sound like a crazy person. But yeah, it just stopped. And I was like, oh, that's nice. So I go over, and nothing. It's sitting there like this, you know, cup of tea. And I was like, I mean, you know what? First of all, nothing's gonna stop me from drinking my tea. But you know, I mean, it's just like, what's going on? Like, why is this all happening? I don't know. And like, it seems to be like following me around, because my house definitely has never been haunted, isn't haunted. The most that my parents have ever said has like happened to them by themselves is my dad saying like the cup slides across the sink sometimes for him too. But you know, that could actually be like the sink's wet and it like slides or something. I don't know. I mean, I think if it's like the same thing that happened to me, like there's just like no way for me to explain that. And it seems like in the past, like nothing at all has happened. I've always felt super safe in my house, and like never felt like there was any like hauntings or spirits or whatever you want to call it going on. I feel like it just like all started happening ever since I did those seances at school and didn't like close them out properly, and I don't know, it's been like crazy. So basically that's everything that's happened up until now. If anything else happens, I'll probably either add it into this video or like make another video. We'll see. I don't know if I'm actually gonna post this or just like send it to people if they ever want to know what's happening, but you never know, it could be interesting. Plus I feel like if I do post it, maybe then like somebody that, you know, is out there in the internet might know better than me like what's going on and what I could possibly do about it, because I'm willing to try anything. It's getting to be kind of scary, and at first I didn't feel like I was like being personally attacked. It almost just felt like there was like just like some random stuff going on. But now it feels like with it, like the noise stopping like outside of my door and my parents not hearing anything, it feels like it's more directed at me and like trying to scare me, especially since when I pulled out my phone to video like the spoon moving, it just like stopped right then, like it's trying to like make me sound crazy. Which, you know, like I am crazy a little bit, but like I'm not that crazy. So yeah, I basically just don't know what to do. If anybody has any suggestions, I'd love to hear them, because I'm about to that point. I'm gonna try to sage my house soon, just because it might help. I don't know, maybe some like protection, like stones or herbs or anything at this point. It's whatever. So that's that. Thanks for listening. If you guys think I should make more of these videos, or if anybody would be interested in anything else that happens, I can make more of these video updates, just let me know. And I will. So yeah, thanks.